GM everyone to another Developers Guild. My name is Mike. I am the DevRel of Superteam Germany. And today we have a very exciting presentation from Noe Rieker, who is part of the Superteam Talent. And he will tell you basically all the alpha about like how to get a job in the Solana ecosystem, what you can do, and maybe you will get some tips on how to succeed and land your next job in this space. Let's everyone welcome Noe to the stage.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me. Lovely to be back here in the Superteam Germany main channel. Been a time.
Nice to have you here. Also, GM to everyone who's joining us. We are streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. So if you want to have some questions or just some knowledge you want to gain from Noe, then drop it in the chat and we will answer it after the presentation. How the agenda looks like, Noe will present you what you can do, and later on we will go through the workflow and the website, how you can do it for yourself. So without further ado, I would say you have the stage, Noe.
Thank you. So maybe start with a little bit of an intro. So for everyone who maybe doesn't know me, I'm Noe. I was helping build Superteam Germany in the early days. I worked for the foundation in somewhere in between 22 and 23 and helped build out the ecosystem here in Europe when it spilled Superteam over, originally spilled over from India to other regions. I've been heavily involved with the ecosystem. Last year I was working for Superteam global initiatives, doing mainly partnerships. And as the ecosystem picked up, both from an ecosystem project side, more teams received funding, more attention, and more teams were actually building on the Solana ecosystem. Plus, our community was growing, and Superteam family got bigger and bigger. The job problem became more and more urgent, and a lot of members kept on pinging me. And I saw about open job opportunities. On the other side, I also saw a lot of very high quality talent who weren't able to break through, and in my opinion, should have had like a job already. So we kind of started this whole initiative, Superteam Talent, to exactly kind of bridge that and support community members. So our mission is therefore pretty simple. Our mission is to connect, as mentioned before, is to connect community members and global talent with leading ecosystem jobs and job opportunities in the Solana ecosystem and solely in the Solana ecosystem. We do provide a little bit of value here, especially on the talent side. So first of all, just exclusive job opportunities. You hopefully already know the Solana job board, which is a great resource to find different jobs in the ecosystem. Besides that, obviously not all jobs make it to that job board. So we do also have, through our network and our existing hiring partners, a lot of exclusive job opportunities. I think we also mentioned it in the latest Jobs of the Week section on our social media on X. I think the Meteora one is a good example. As a DevRel for Meteora, it wasn't anywhere publicly written. So there is this first thing of like just having hidden job opportunities and knowing who's hiring for what kind of positions and being on the pulse of the hiring pipeline in the ecosystem. Then on the other side, hopefully giving you advice and making the application process easier for you. Ideally, we do help you with this. So you'd ideally just get signed up on our website. We evaluate you, which I'll get to in a second, and we'll support you throughout this whole application process, which we will end up doing for you. Then obviously, we'll get to understand your needs, inviting you maybe for a coffee chat. If we do see a fit, figuring out what are your strengths, where have you been working, where have you been contributing in the ecosystem. Again, focusing solely and mainly on the Solana ecosystem and its community. Then besides that, obviously interview support throughout the whole process, walking you through it, supporting you, making sure everything is set for the next stage, as hiring processes can be very long. Also, and especially also in the Web3 space, making sure everything is set and you go from next step to next step, as processes can get up to, 6, 7, 8 rounds of a position. Then as mentioned, the application support, providing you with feedback and insights for your application. And then on the other side, hiring support, so matching your needs directly with or not your needs, and also your strengths and where you're located and what you're really looking for, matching that with our ecosystem projects. Besides that, I think something very crucial to mention here is that we're born out of the community, and we really want to support the ecosystem, especially the Superteam community. So we do actively reinvest into the ecosystem by giving back a portion of our placement fee to local communities and scouts. So two different stakeholders here that we onboard. First of all, obviously Superteam is our default community, that whenever, let's say, a Superteam member from Superteam UK being hired to an ecosystem project, we actively, everybody from Superteam UK will be eligible for some rewards later this year. We'll probably have this bi-yearly, those reward sessions, but more to come on this on socials probably in a month or so. But this is the one side of the thing where we really want to work close with the communities, have open pipelines, figuring out, especially on the local level, who's really shining, who's really contributing and active, and then support them on a global basis to find a global and remote job. On the other side, there are scouts who are very well connected ecosystem players or individuals or very motivated people who want to contribute and ideally are very well connected. And I personally just had a lot of those conversations or interactions where it was like, hey, how do I get a job? Do you know somebody, blah, blah, blah. And ideally, this should answer it, where you can just share your scout form. You can be onboarded as a scout. You can apply to become a scout, which I'll share in a second. And then you can just share your own sign-up sheet for Superteam Talent. And whenever we do help that person you referred to find a job, we'll share a portion as well of that placement fee with you who referred your friend. So this is one important section where we really try to focus on, because obviously we are born from and within the Solana ecosystem. So we therefore really want to foster the next wave of growth and reinvest actively in the talent that makes that space so unique. Then a little bit, I think I've mentioned it before a little bit, but this is very on a high level for you, but how does a process look for a talent? So we'll go through the website, or I can show you in a second, but basically you can sign up on the website there. It's important that you make sure you take your time, go through the application form, put in all your details. So we have everything on our side to evaluate it and see that you really did contribute to that through that lens. So we'll start matchmaking and see who's a great fit, who has been active in this local region, who has been contributing to the ecosystem, etc. And then we'll schedule an coffee chat with most of the promising talent to figure out, again, on a personal level, evaluate you a little bit, figure out what you're doing, what you're passionate about, and what is a vertical you're really interested in, so we can make sure that we can make that as well. And then obviously, and on other perspective is whenever we do find a match with a hiring partner, we'll introduce you. Whenever the partner gives us a green light, we'll introduce you directly, and then throughout the process support you and help you, especially as on the last part as well with negotiation and ongoing just career support. So this is more about our process. I think then a little bit of a hot take a lot of people came for, a little bit of career advice. So I think programming language, especially for the technical ones, this is just know your basics, especially when we're trying to swim in this Solana ecosystem, having like a valid proof of Rust, obviously, and some experience. Then smart contract and depth development. I think here, obviously, it's great to join early projects and just gain as much as possible, as much experience as possible to build up your proof of work. This section of smart contract and depth development is the one thing. On the other hand, I think being just also an active user, knowing what is hot in the ecosystem, trying it out, trying to be like always the first guy to try out new tech or new ecosystem projects, just build up your knowledge around the ecosystem, what's being built, who is trying to solve which problem, I think is a huge strength. And especially a lot of hiring partners are looking for those people who know the ecosystem, who have contributed to it, have proof of that, and also just know what's really happening on chain. Then this leads into the third part, just understanding blockchain basics and fundamentals. Here, I think we do have by now a lot of resources you can go through, courses or programmer courses. And then on the other side, obviously learn security, best practices, which is also still this day very underutilized within our space. So there's obviously this. Then on the other learn part, I think we on our website, I can get to it in a second as well, have also our Solana job playbook, which also have a lot of few resources on how to gain and how to learn. I think here, again, one thing we didn't mention here is your proof of work. This you can ideally build up via Superteam Earn, which is the ideal platform for like contributing or building up your proof of work in the Solana ecosystem. And then one other very important time of the year are obviously our hackathons. So Colosseum is twice a year hosting our global Solana hackathons. And I think this is the ideal way, especially for an early stage builder who really wants to be part of the ecosystem or land or set a foot in the ecosystem. This is a great opportunity to just get into the trenches, start meeting or connecting with the community, either on a local build station, whatever it may be. Identify a topic or a project that you're really passionate about and you see upside or like potential in it, and try to be as active as possible in those hackathons, as this will help you a lot, especially on a later stage when applying to jobs, showcasing that you have contributed to multiple Solana hackathons. Ideally, you guys even won something, etc. This really helps. So I think for practice, again, Superteam Earn is super valuable, especially maybe also on the non-technical side, as of there's also technical things, but also on the non-technical side. And for Colosseum or for our global hackathons per year, I think this should be, especially for early stage hungry people, the best time for them to shine and be active and contribute. And then track it as well. This is also really important to just track it and have it as be able to showcase it. Then one last thing I quickly want to mention on is CVs, as we had the pleasure of reading hundreds of them now. So just some quick check marks, and I think we'll publish a playbook on this on our Twitter again somewhere this week or next week. But we have seen variations of it, but just to keep it straight, keep it as a one-pager, don't overcomplicate it. People, especially recruiters, have just a few seconds to look at your CV, and then they needs to be clean, and needs to be one page, and it needs to clearly showcase your previous working experience or your proof of work. So obviously some tech stack visibility also really helps, especially on the technical side of things. As mentioned, in clear formatting, knowing which sections for what. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't throw too much context on it. Ideally, no skills bar. And then, as again, quantified achievements, try to be as quantitative as possible, and write down, especially for every job that you had, what you really contributed to, as this really helps us, and also ideally your next hire or your next job, figure out what you really did at this company, and not just be like, I don't know, full stack developer, and then really don't mention much more around it, rather than actually letting us know how you contributed. So yeah, I think this is more or less it about checklist. Here we do have our LinkedIn, our website, and our Twitter. I'm happy to get a little bit more, a few questions around it. And then also, I think, Nikolai, we should go a little bit through our website to show a little bit what I've been just talking about. But yeah, that would, for the first time, would be it for me, myself.
Yeah, thank you for this presentation. Can you maybe go a couple of slides back?
Yep.
And like just to answer some question before we get into the hands-on experience. Yeah, exactly, to the career advice. Like here we can see it's like specifically developer focused, but as you mentioned, it does not have to be for developers only. Is that right?
No. And there's a lot of jobs right now. Obviously, we're working in a tech vertical, and there's a lot of engineering jobs and a lot of backend engineering jobs, as this is probably still one of the most crucial or most jobs people are looking for, or hires they're looking for. But obviously on the other side, I think those non-technical jobs, or marketing in just general, or a BD or a growth lead is really important, especially for those early on projects. I think having somebody who really understands the ecosystem, knows its stakeholders, and who can grow the protocol or the project or whatever to a certain degree for GTM support, etc., is really crucial. And here I'd say like best advice to go for is be active on social, build up your network, show it on social. Like you can obviously see it on social, who follows who, and just seeing who you're connected with, be active on it, and then understand the ecosystem, know its placeholders, and then figure out how you can also just build up those proof of works, and ideally join ecosystem project, and help them in their GTM or whatever it might be you're looking for, marketing or social media. So to answer your question, I think there's still, and especially on the Learn side, there's still a lot of focus on the engineering parts of the thing, and we're at the Dev Guild, so I think most of us should be happy about it. On the other side, there's obviously a lot of interest, especially for those technical teams that come out of a hackathon that need their next 1, 2, or 3 hires that help them on the operations side, they help them on the growth side, which are really crucial metrics, especially on the early cycle stage of an ecosystem project.
All right, that's nice to hear. And also, let's say you are a developer who does not have too much experience in Solana, but like mostly on EVM platforms, but do have like broad knowledge of blockchains and stuff. Would you say like you would specifically need to learn something for Solana to be able to like get some further job opportunities?
I mean, it depends what you want to do. If you're doing front end, I don't think there's much need for it. Obviously, whenever you want to touch backend, you should have strong knowledge about Anchor, Rust, etc., and have proven record of like doing at least projects and having won a local track or something. I think there are certain things. I think Turbine people are doing an amazing job of educating people and just figuring out the Solana basics. I think this is a great address people can go to just educate and upskill themselves. I think the Solana Foundation itself have a lot of like dev-related content pieces. I think everybody can easily go through. So I think yes, and to add on this point, there are jobs that really also look for both, especially on infrastructure side, and having experience in the EVM ecosystem or in the other ecosystem really does help as well. But obviously, for those backend roles, etc., having showcasing, having proof that you actually build stuff and know how to build stuff on Solana obviously is crucial.
All right. And since we are here at the Superteam Germany Developers Guild, you also mentioned that there are guilds from UK or other countries. So does it mean that Superteam Talent is also for people outside Germany?
Yes. Superteam Talent in general is a global initiative where we do work. I think we are still somewhere between 14 and 15 countries, Superteam geographies globally. So obviously we do work with all of those. We also don't want to forget our friends in the US. There will be probably a different approach as there's different localized communities like the port, like Skyline, which is Becca's leading, or All Might from Kevin, etc. So Superteam Global is a global initiative. Obviously, we are a community-born, Superteam-born initiative, and we are just, all of us are members who have been early on contributing and figuring out now how we can help different people all over the world find and get into this, in my opinion, amazing space to work in.
That's great to hear. So also for people, for the audience who is not from within Germany, it's for everyone, like all the knowledge that you can gain here. And as you mentioned, you have higher chances to land a job if you participate in hackathons or win some local track as well. And this is like a great opportunity to shell some alpha here, because there is the Colosseum hackathon upcoming. And for next week, for those of you who can make it to Berlin, I will share to you this link if you can look it up on Luma. It's a 0 to startup bootcamp where you can learn all the basics, like how to succeed in a hackathon. And if you're like very new to the space, then you can just learn how to start off with Solana, how to build your first step, and how to build your startup on it. So check it out. Like the Solana Colosseum hackathon is definitely worth doing. And if you win, then you have higher chances to landing a job in this ecosystem. Also, right. I see here from Bloody, yeah, he will be on cool. Breakout. So we'll be happy to see all of you who can join the bootcamp, but also the hackathon itself. It's just like great spirit, and you can really get lots of career opportunities there.
And meet likewise people. I think I love the build stations. Whoever who is listening to this and hasn't been, you should go. It's the best time of the year.
Exactly. And we have already one other question from Vladislav. Obviously, It's secret, but what's the approximate number of orgs working with Superteam Talent? Number of open positions and number of CVs so far?
So approximate number of organisms over Superteam Talent. Okay, this is difficult to answer. So I think what you want to know is how many open positions? Over 25-ish. Let's put it that way, around 20 hiring partners. Then obviously we do also recruit for other very well-known ecosystem projects that don't directly have a service agreement with us, rather than just us referring them talent or like tier 1 talent. And then obviously on the ecosystem talent side, there are a couple of hundreds now who are trying to seek our help. So we're trying to keep it up.
All right, another thing. Yeah, thanks for signing up. It's definitely very great stuff you can learn there, not only from developers' perspective, but also from like a career perspective, like how to build your product, how to have the go-to markets and everything around it. So definitely nice to have you here. And will it be streamed? Yes, it will be. Definitely alpha that you will get, so don't miss that one out. But yeah, I would say without talking more about the hackathon, let's maybe continue with your product and the walkthrough through the website. I think that's what people are very interested in about as well.
Mm-hmm. You should be able to see my screen now, ideally, and not my private keys. Can you just confirm, or am I doxed?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's just a website. All good.
All right. All right. So basically, whenever you go on talent.superteam.fun, you'll land on this landing page here, which a little bit explains what we're doing, a little bit of hiring partners that we're already working with our mission statement. Here's a little bit of things that I've mentioned earlier already in our call, that we're trying to bridge that gap between like really, really hardworking and hard contributing ecosystem community members and talent, and on the other side, obviously the projects we're trying to grow and raise, or like trying to grow and scale. The hidden job opportunities are mentioned again, and our sharing is caring initiative, where we actively reinvest into the ecosystem, as mentioned. We're our career accelerators, that we're really trying to be that kind of buddy to you, who, if you have a provable record, that will Yannick and me are just on your side the whole time whenever you might be looking for a change or just need infos or feedback. Just trying to be there for you as much as possible and supporting your career, especially within the Solana ecosystem. Then our beautiful community a little bit, and a little bit of a FAQ section. Do I need to be a super team member? I think is a great question. You don't have to be. This is really important to clarify. I think one other really important thing is obviously what I've mentioned before, what are scouts, which I before mentioned, but for everybody who might be interested in applying for a scout or like become a scout, this will be your section here, where we will have our scout form here. So whenever you want to become a scout or try apply to become one, make sure to go to our FAQ section, and then down here you will get redirected. I don't want to press it right now, but you will get redirected to an Airtable form. We'll probably have an own section around our scout initiative on here soon, but this is for now where you will find it. Explaining a little bit more about the community rewards, which I've just mentioned, and how to join as a community. But most importantly, I think everybody is here to join our talent network. Here you'll have to go through a 2-step process, add a little bit of content around yourself, especially again here, which I've mentioned before, try to be as accurate as possible, as this really gives us the opportunity to highlight you and really understand how and where you have been contributing. Highlighting a little bit more about how the process looks like, that you know how it works. Feel free to just go through this by yourself. But the core message is, whenever you're interested in receiving support and us taking a look at you and trying to get to know you, make sure to fill this out. Get in touch. You can also DM me or Yannick on Telegram. And then one other thing I kind of want to mention here is our career resource page. Here are the open Solana jobs. This will directly redirect you to the Solana job board. Solana freelance gigs, I think this will lead you to Superteam Earn, which is super valuable, as mentioned, for building up this proof of work and getting, especially on an early stage, and active in the ecosystem, and learn to earn, learn while earning. And then lastly, we do have our Solana job playbook here, which I kind of want to go through for a second, which will just a designated place for some key resources that hopefully help you avoid common mistakes, and This is filtered through pre-application forums, so how to build your proof of work, which we've posted on our socials lately as well, growing your X audience or your Twitter audience, and then building a career as a blockchain developer, focusing more as a dev. Some resources around how to apply, what a great CV looks like, GitHub for job-seeking developers, and a little bit more alpha around how the interviews look like, how to prepare for one, which is really crucial as well. And then acing the machine coding interview and some other resources. And then lately, I think one topic that really does not get much appreciation, which I think is still very valid, is negotiations and how to get into that. Obviously, there's no secret around that there are some pretty interesting and intriguing compensations in our ecosystem. So knowing where the industry standard is and where you should be ranked in and how to enter such negotiations. I can just emphasize everybody or recommend to everybody checking this out. But yeah, if somebody is, if you know anybody who's hiring as an ecosystem project, obviously we support those as well. I think this will be a different note, but whenever you don't know a project or you see somebody hiring, you can just refer them to this page where they can get in touch with us, and we'll take it from there and make sure that we support them throughout our hiring initiatives. Yeah, but I think this for now would be it in our little dive through our website. I hope I didn't miss anything. But yeah, let me know if there's any question, Nikolai.
There is a very good question right from the start. Like for the talents, what are the chances of entry-level talents being hired? So like if you're really unexperienced but just got started, maybe participate in hackathon, what are the chances?
Very slim, because obviously it has its perks of this global decentralized remote working force. On the downside, you do compete on a global basis as well. So there are no real restrictions, and there's a lot of very high qualified people also in this ecosystem. So to be honest, I think ideally for early stage and low, like entry level talents, I think the best case scenario, especially knowing in which stage you are and figuring out is how to get from this stage to your next stage, and knowing what kind of steps you have to take, like being active within your local community, participating in hackathons, either on a dev side or on a marketing side. This obviously helps us, or like helps your CV and the later stage to be more visible and more impressive. Let's put it that way. Go on Superteam, or be vocal on social media, build up your network, different methods to just level up, and then just be active. Ping us, ping other ecosystem projects. I think that's the way to go, especially for entry-level talent.
So would you say that there are no chances to get like like through the talent layer if you would?
No, it's never none. Obviously, and especially as there is a lot of teams hiring globally, but there's a lot of people, or like a few projects also, that do hire locally, and then it does look like it's a different play and a different situation. But overall, like arching, let's say there's like for one position, there's a few hundred people who apply for it. And then obviously as in any other branch, if you don't have like previous experience much and you haven't been contributing much, obviously your chances are unfortunately more slim than they are.
All right. Like as we know it from the regular markets, people are either like looking for senior or just fresh devs. Is it similarly in the Solana ecosystem space, or would you say they prefer mostly just like very experienced people in that case?
I think it's very different, to be honest. I think it is different to the degree that we highlight soft skills and ecosystem contributions more than other ecosystems, or like not just like other ecosystems, rather than like obviously traditional markets or traditional branches. So I think you can really do shine in this through soft facts, not something that is on your CV is like, hey, I've worked, let's say 2 years at Squads, whatever, doing this, and that, rather than it's like, hey, I'm part of Superteam, whatever, Balkan, I am hosting, or like you, Mike, I'm a developer at Superteam Germany, I'm hosting this, I'm contributing, I'm actively learning, and you're just out there and people know you and you build up your reputation and your network. I think this is really something that can make it easier if you do apply it and you're actively approaching it through this lens. It's like, okay, hey, I'm in this stage, how do I get to this next stage? Knowing where you are and then figuring out what are the kind of roads you can take to fast track this, and then playing your situation and going next step by step.
So would you say that a social factor is a big deal on landing a job actually?
It depends. Obviously, on a core backend role, you don't have to be the most social guy because you end up probably just coding all day. But overall, yes, I think it is, to answer your question. Yes, I think it is really a strength, and just again participate or just being at a build station, seeing like-minded people talking about the ecosystem, just strengthens your network, and just like people having you in mind, and then whatever, maybe they join a team and he remembers you throughout the build station, whatever, gets in touch, and that really opens another door. So you never really, so this ecosystem is still relatively small, and especially if you go to just core Solana events, I think you can easily connect again, and make a name for yourself and just like be active within it. And then in this still small space, I think you can get very much recognized on that, and it really just helps you. Just when you ever represent a CV, obviously, or a candidate, it does help. Let's say he lacks a little bit of experience. He doesn't have this, I don't know, ludicrous 8-year working experience, rather than he has like 3 in like a core protocol or like a core project. And then he's also on the side running a community, contributing to a community, or have been participating in one house in an event or a meetup. That's really helps us as well shine through a different lens. And I think for people, it's really important. And we saw that as well. It's like a lot of people, sometimes they can rather pass on the experience side, but rather like it's an up on the personal side, and showcase that you're a social guy. I think that really can also help.
All right, sounds good. And we also have some comments here that there might be some sanction restrictions because there's like a global platform, right? So what are your thoughts to that?
Global? I don't get it. Am I?
I
What do you mean with global sanctions?
I think what is mentioned that if you're, let's say, living in Germany, but you might get a job in the US. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think then some other restrictions might apply. For instance, that you would have like a working visa of some sorts. And do you take that into account, or are you just like for connecting companies?
Yeah, no, we don't. So mostly if there is this requirement of, let's say you have to work in New York or whatever, there is already most of the time, especially for more established project, there is already this program internally within the ecosystem project that supports or like applicants who, let's say you're from India, and it's pretty tough to get a working visa in the US, which is really well known. Obviously, there are teams who are, if they really want you, they support you in getting that working visa and helping you relocate. But obviously, this is with more effort combined. So there are those positive advantages. Let's say if a team is completely based in Central Europe, obviously they'd love to have their next hire also be somewhere around so they can connect. And same applies for others. So there are those sanctions, but I think they're really rare because most of the jobs are remote and global. And for those who are there, they know about the situation, and then in most cases they have support vehicles within the ecosystem project to help you relocate or yeah.
Okay, no, I just saw that it was regarding.
I think so too, because it's today Liberty Day. Is he talking about this one? Probably.
Oh, no, he was talking about this comment, if I'm right, about the chances of getting a job.
I see. Yeah. I see. Anyways, covered that one as well.
All right. Also, what would maybe be interesting for people who are like just joining the ecosystem or devs who have some experience in Web2, but are thinking about if they should go the extra step, learn about blockchain stuff and try to get a job there, or would you think that it's like easier to just stick to Web2? Because we see that like blockchain and Solana is like very niche, but maybe that specific what makes it potentially easier to specify in that, because we have less competition. What is like your thought on that?
My thought on it is that you should follow, sounds cheesy, follow your heart. Is like, if you're really passionate about blockchain and Solana, I don't think it's a burden for you to go for a Turbine course or go through the developer docs from Foundation and learn another skill. It's rather than just like you doing it on the side and you just love it anyways. And then I think you're on the right spot. if you force yourself to learn a new skill because you think it's easier to get a job in the Solana ecosystem, I don't think that's the approach you should take and go for. Rather than you should be here because you want to be here and you're like really intrigued by it, etc. And that also really increases obviously your chances of getting a job later on. But yeah, I think for Web2 devs, there's obviously a lot of interest right now within all the attention, obviously, that Solana or like the whole blockchain space is getting right now. I think we are on a different like growth stage as an ecosystem where we do have a lot of documentation and onboarding courses that should make your life really easy if you know where to search for and just go through them, meet with like-minded people. And then I think the ecosystem is so fast moving, it will eat you alive. No, not that, like you will find new opportunities rather than like you can imagine of just being active and meeting new people. So I think, Mike, you can just like, it's probably one of the, like you can talk for yourself. Now being a deferral and suddenly the next door is opening, and this ecosystem is so in need for talent and really wants to. I think what is really beautiful about it is just sees also young people who are really like engaged and motivated around a specific topic, and just also gives you the opportunity to grow and the experiences to grow, which is really lovely about the space.
Exactly, it's about those small steps in the beginning. So even if you might
build in public, go to events, build your skill set, build your proof of work, network, just enjoy the perks of this lot. There's so much happening. Like Balaji with his whole network state theory, there are so many right now in the Solana ecosystem. There are events, I can't even keep up with it anymore on socials, where there's events happening all over the world. Go to them, meet like-minded people, and I think you will sooner than you might assume have another like opening door that you can go through. And then obviously Superteam Talent is there as well, the whole process to support you for it.
Exactly. Like just if you are like new to the space but would like to get involved, I would suggest to go to hackathons, meet like-minded people. You don't even have to be like a hardcore dev for that reason. You can be just
you don't. No.
You can like marketing or like we always need some people who present the stuff that developers do. And I think developers have sometimes hard time to express what they've done, or try to sell it. So that's why us devs also need people who help us out with that, or like do some UI UX designs. And yeah, it's just like just in regular Web2, but sort of niche place. So don't get discouraged by comments like it's harder to get a job because it's blockchain. It doesn't have to be the case. Just have to find people, connect, and as Noe said, maybe go into communities, try to contribute, show yourself, and then it definitely will be easier for you.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, and yeah, let's. If you have some questions from the audience, then leave them here, because as of right now, I personally got all the news that I wanted. Noe, do you maybe have something you would like to talk about, or some final remarks?
A teaser. Yanni will probably hate me for that. But whoever, I think there must be a lot of OGs in the audience. So whoever has been around Superteam already knows what I'm talking about last year. So we had something called the Talent Olympics in June 2024, which was hosted on Earn. Hopefully, if you do remember this, which was as mentioned, the Talent Olympics, where we had, I think, for backend and front-end 5 skill challenges where people were able to participate and win bounties for those little challenges. But the overall goal was, I think we had 50 hiring partners or something, is to, with your proof of work and your challenges that you won, we helped you get or get you an introduction to ecosystem projects. This is something that we do want to bring back. I think this has a lot of potential, and I think it got a lot of love from the community as well, because it is again one of those like top of the funnel, like early initiatives to help people get started and get noticed on a skill-based level. So more to come on this soon. I think we're gonna bring it back and roll with the boys to cook something up with the boys of Superteam Earn, which I'm really looking forward on a personal level. If you have any ideas around it, and if you have participated in the Talent Olympics last time and you had any feedback that you want to see at this time, please also just ping me. My DMs are generally always open. I'd love to get your feedback. But this is something I kind of want to tease out there, that there might be in Q2 or Q3 another opportunity to land a job through the Talent Olympics, but more to come soon.
You mentioned that people can ping you. What is actually like your ad? Is it Noe Lander? Is that right?
No, for X or for Telegram
privately. You mentioned that people can.
Yes, this is my Twitter. I sent it to you via private chat, and this is my Telegram.
And what's the easiest to contact you? Would it be Telegram in that case?
Yeah, works.
All right. Then here you can see that's the ad for Telegram. So feel free to contact him if you have any further questions or remarks. And don't forget the page where you should go is talent.superteam.fun. I can show it also. There you can apply for your next job, and wish you all the best with that. We have also another question as I see it.
Let's go.
Or pass. There it is. They could have their staff apply for and pass one of Solana Turbine's free cohorts. Would be my recommendation for agencies and individuals. Like, if agencies are looking, yeah, maybe like something in collaboration with Turbine might be very interesting. Have you actually worked with Turbine before, or
Yep.
is it like a couple?
So as mentioned before, the Talent Olympics was co-hosted with Turbine, with Jeff together, and he helped us, especially on the technical evaluation part. But yeah, we haven't figured out yet. We haven't had the chance yet to figure out how to play there for this Talent Olympics. But generally, I think back to Bloody's questions, I think great address. I think there are some other addresses as well where just individuals can go and upskill themselves and also get like some certificate that helps them have like a quantitative proof or like a proof that they actually know what they're talking about and they went through some learning.
All right, so keep looking for that upcoming events. Definitely follow the Twitter page that we have, because we also have like a super team DE. We have lots of interesting stuff coming up also for the hackathon. As you saw or like heard multiple times, participating in hackathons is one of the key metrics that you can boost your CV, your knowledge, and work on from that. Besides that, I don't see any further questions. Maybe we will give you a couple of minutes to write something down. And yeah, I think it was very nice insights from you, Noe. Thank you very much again for participating. Thank you for sharing your product. Hopefully you will get devs from our community to sign up. Hopefully you won't get too many CVs you have to look through, but now with the knowledge that you gained, you will know how to create one to land higher chances. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And yeah, I think for our devs, as mentioned, Build Station, I will be there, obviously, as you will as well. Just approach us, or if you meet my co-founder, Yannick, happy to just have a chat and figure out how we can support you. And then looking forward to seeing you as well at Build Station, Mike, right?
I will be, definitely. Also, I didn't mention it, but this is my Twitter and Telegram handle. So if you have any dev-related questions, feel free to ping me there or join our Telegram group where we post stuff like the Developers Guild, and then you can also learn more about that. Yeah, here we get the Colosseum Hackathon shield again. It's starting in nearly 2 weeks. Yeah, it's in 2 weeks already. Time moves fast.
Let's go.
Very great stuff. Yeah, the build station will be in April exclusively, but we will also have share some live streams and workshops then. So we will keep you posted. And thank you everybody who joined, who wanted to learn about everything here. And I think we can wrap it up here. There are no further questions. Again, thank you very much, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks for the next Developers Guild.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.